Oldest plays.
Let's go, baby. Boom.
Hardest hits.
Woo!
And the craziest stories from around the NFL.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Fire the cannons.
This is Sunday Huddle with Colin Russo, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
It is Sunday Huddle, and we got some big games to react to and some big games to get to. Week 16 of the NFL, the college football playoff is officially underway, and we got a whole lot to talk about. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Russo with you. We get Cade Chumsman behind the glass. We're at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach, where we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter / X at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida. Now that we have a little college football playoff team, now we could relook at how the playoff did it. Did the committee get it right? Are the right protocols in place? Should James Madison and Tulane even been invited to the dance? We'll get into all of that. And Bears-Packers last night, which was as good of a game as we have seen. We have now seen two excellent games this week with that Rams-Seahawks game on Thursday Night Football. And then you saw Bears take down the Packers on a walk-off 22-16 in Soldier Field last night in overtime with a DJ Moore 45-yard touchdown to close it. Bears now in good control of that NFC North. They win one more game, they will clinch that division. So they got the Niners on the road, and then they got to take on the Lions after that in Chicago. So they got to win one of the next two, and I'm sure they don't want to play that last game of the year. The Bears in good standing with what's going on in their division. Nonetheless, go download Hard Rock Bet today, because Hard Rock Bet is your place to get involved in all of the games. The games today, a lot of good ones today. Tampa Bay against Carolina. You get Denver taking on Jacksonville. You get the Patriots and the Ravens tonight. You get so much good action in the NFL that you can bet on player props, futures, game-by-game, live bet. Parlay as little as $1, add up to 20 legs, increase your odds. It's all the stuff that you could get involved with on the Hard Rock Bet app today. Check out the Discover page and also put just $5 into the app. Just $5. Bet that first $5 bet, win it, get $150 in bonus bets immediately deposited into your account. Refer a friend, get $50 more. Now you get $200 you can play with Bowl Week here. You get the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans on Tuesday, and you got college football playoff quarterfinals just over about 10 days away. So we're already looking forward to that, and we're also looking forward to this slate of NFL football, and you can bet it all on the Hard Rock Bet app. Go download it today. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus. Physically present in Florida. The wager. Terms, conditions apply. If you're somebody you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE. All right, we'll start with college football playoff, and then we'll get to the Packers, Cade. Cade Chumsman behind the glass with me. College football playoff yesterday, bulk of the games. You had Miami winning their first college football playoff game on the road at College Station. As ugly of a game as you can find. A game, the highlights were missed field goals, interceptions, fumbles, terrible drives, getting behind the sticks. Oh, terrible. And Carson Beck Mark Fletcher leading a touchdown drive with minutes to go to secure the win for Miami. What does Texas A&M do on the other side? They go right down the field. First drive you see all game with Texas A&M having a little life offensively. And with about 25 seconds to go, Miami's able to intercept Marcel Reed in the end zone and then walk out of College Station with a win. When you look at last year's slate of games, all the home teams dominated. It was a home team feast. That home field acted really as a 12th man, and it made a big difference. Then you look back in this week, other than the two group of five teams that were in the playoff in James Madison and Tulane, who were definitely completely outmatched comparatively to their counterpart opponents, both the road teams won. Miami won and Alabama won. And this is an Alabama team that was down 17-0 in the first quarter. And then Miami, on the other hand, who was 3-3 the entire game. You think the later in the game it gets, the more tense they're going to get. Wrong. It was Texas A&M who was very tense throughout that game, moving the ball offensively. Miami's defense made a ton of plays. Marcel Reed did absolutely nothing offensively. And despite them having Le'Veon Moss back, who I knew got hurt later in the game, they have Casey Concepcion, Mario Craver. They have a lot of great players offensively for A&M. They could do nothing. And then as for Miami, Carson Beck was no savior. Let's put it that way. It was Mark Fletcher that won that game. But now you look ahead at Miami, who in some ways validated the college football playoff committee due to the fact that they won that game. You could say the same thing about Alabama. Notre Dame sitting there, hold on, why is Alabama and Miami getting into the playoff? We deserve that spot. Well, Miami and Notre Dame and Alabama both won their games. Now Alabama's going to be playing Indiana at the Rose Bowl, and Miami's going to be playing Ohio State at the Cotton Bowl. So it validates the committee's decision. The college football playoff committee are the winners in this situation, not only because home teams weren't that dominant, but two, because the teams they elected to put in both won their games. I got to think there's some truth to that. Now, with Miami beating A&M, Cade, now we look ahead. Miami, Alabama, those Ole Miss, who without Lane Kiffin, who played great, those are the teams that we're looking at that, all right, well, they showed a little guts. What was your biggest takeaway from what you saw over the weekend? Is it with Miami able to win at College Station, or is it with Ole Miss? What is your big takeaway from yesterday's games and Friday night's game?
I think Alabama's the biggest story of the weekend simply because of how they did it. 17-0 down, a team that Oklahoma had beaten Alabama in the regular season in I believe, a second half phenomenal game.
And Norman, too. In Norman, Oklahoma.
Norman. And so, and the fact that, I believe the Lou Groza kicker of the year,
Tate Sandell,
was the one who,
friend of show,
right? Was the one who ultimately choked under the pressure. It just, to me, validated that no matter what type of situation it is, no matter if it's 3 losses, 2 losses, SEC championship or not, the blue bloods of the SEC know how to play in these games and they know how to win. And in order to be part of that group, you need to beat them in their environment. And while that game was in Norman, that is a game that Alabama itself thrives on, an atmosphere that they know how to win with, no matter who the head coach is, no matter who the quarterback is. Alabama knows how to finish games like that. And I thought it was amazing validation for the college football playoffs, because I was actually hearing a lot of smoke for the Alabama staying at the 9 slot with 3 losses on the year.
And Notre Dame was tweeting when Alabama was down 17-0 in that first quarter. They were tweeting.
Huge.
So
the fact that Alabama comes back and wins that game, to me, is a little bit bigger, because I had seen Texas A&M not put up any points against, who was it, South Carolina?
Yeah, terrible in that first half.
So Miami just took that blueprint and put it into a full 60-minute game.
And Miami's also, Texas A&M's a team that hadn't played a lot of great SEC teams all year.
The easiest strength of schedule in the entire SEC, correct?
SEC
statistically?
By far. And then they also played Notre Dame, and they won at Notre Dame, so you got to give them a little credit for that. But you're right. Once they played Texas, they couldn't do anything offensively. So it was a team that did not necessarily get tested despite that great conference.
Nope. I think Alabama, to me, was the bigger game that said more about college football as a story. And shout out to Miami for being able to, when the moment mattered, because, again, another team that can't necessarily play with a huge spotlight on them, and that Notre Dame game at the beginning of the year was huge for the Miami as a program. Now you're going into one of the most hostile environments in all of college football. Your defense steps up as the heart and soul of this team. And now we have an amazing matchup at the Cotton Bowl for them in Ohio State.
Yeah, they're going to have Ohio State. That's going to be the Christmas Eve game. There's only one on Christmas Eve. Then there's a triple header on New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve. And then the triple header on New Year's Day. So that will be the night game going into it, which I actually like. I think that's a good kind of precursor to a good weekend of football. But, with Miami winning that game. See, the thing is, you don't walk away overly impressed with anything they did offensively. Malachi Toney got the big punt return that put him in position to get a field goal. And outside of that, it was Mark Fletcher single-handedly leading that team down the field in that last drive of the game that allowed Miami to score a touchdown. And it was the end around that allowed them to score as well. So it wasn't any Carson Beck. Carson Beck did not do anything to inspire confidence going forward. But it's survive and advance. You got to win 4 games, and they're 1 down. So I'm not sure if I necessarily have changed my tune on them being a all-time great national title contender, but I think there are wolves and there are sheep in the college football playoff. And you found out that Miami was not a sheep. Miami was a wolf. And the same thing goes for Tulane. The same thing goes for James Madison. Oklahoma's a little in between because Oklahoma got outscored 34-7 after that 17-0, shot out of a cannon. But a lot of times when you go into these playoffs, which is why I don't think there's that much of an argument about the group of fives getting in, which I'll ask you about in a second. When you get into these games, even it had happened with the 14 playoff. If it was 8 teams, if it was 12 teams, There are going to be a small number of wolves, and the rest are going to be sheep. What I mean by that is everybody else is going to be set up just to get pounded on by a much better football team. And you walk away from the game thinking there is a big discrepancy in talent and coaching in Team A versus Team B. You saw it in Ohio State last year. The further they got up the totem pole, you thought Notre Dame was very, very good. They beat Penn State. Then Notre Dame goes into the championship, and they realize, all right, we're not a wolf, we're a sheep. And then you go down the list. Texas was close, but still, Texas mostly thoroughly outplayed against Ohio State. This is just how it happens. Tennessee was another example, going to Columbus and losing by 20 points. There are discrepancies in teams. Are there 12 worthy college football playoff national title contender teams? The answer is no. The answer will never be yes. So I want to follow all of that with Cade posing you the question, does Ole Miss beating Tulane by 31 points, shot out of a cannon again, 14-0 before you blink. And then James Madison, who I know they scored 34 points, garbage town. It was 48 to 10, 48 to 13. Does those results change your mind in terms of the structure of the playoff, in terms of group of fives, conference champions getting in?
Not from what it was last year, because we saw this last year. I mean, it's the exact same opinions I had last year, too.
And what were those opinions?
That if you are going to allow a team like James Madison or Tulane, you need to have it bigger than 12 teams. I'm fine with a 12-team playoff. Don't let those type of teams in. I'm also fine with letting those teams in if you have a lot more other teams that are national contenders. The reason we went to 12 teams in the first place was because it seemed that there were always more than 4 teams who can compete for a national championship or win a national championship. And so we went from 4 to 12. Now the problem is that we're dealing with a whole bunch of teams who we all know cannot win a national championship, and we're trying to let them in. Year in and year out, there's always a flex of how many teams we think can win a national championship. A lot of times, it's like 2, especially when the 4-team playoff was there.
It was like 2.
1 or 2. Then it became a little more with the NIL. It became 4 or 6. When it became 6 or 7 in 2023, that's when the college football playoff realized they need to make a change. And in order to keep the tradition of conference pride, they made it a rule to where they had to have 5 conference champions. Problem with that is we all know that there is, as well as a issue with team discrepancy, there's a conference discrepancy now in college football.
You're not wrong.
And so you're now seeing that you wanted 5 conference champions. You're really only thinking that 2 or 3 of those are real title contenders. And now you have 2 of your 12, which is a 1/6 of your entire playoffs, is meaningless, in my opinion. Fun stories, but meaningless. So you got to pick and choose. You have to either choose that you're going to have less teams, but all contenders, or you're going to have a lot of teams with some fun stories in there, just like March Madness. It's a lot of teams. Everyone realizes that not all of these teams can win national championships. But in basketball, you could say that there's about 12 to 16 teams that could win a national championship in college basketball, year in and year out. In college football, you need to either choose, we're going to have everyone in with the fun stories, or we're going to really select who we truly think are national contender worthy. And right now they're stuck in the middle.
Now, to that point, if you were to expand what you're alluding to, well, if you're going to add James Madison and Tulane, well, you got to expand the playoff. Isn't it just adding an extra lane to the highway, and then all the traffic won't fix? It's like that there's just going to be more teams. If there's 16 teams, there's going to be more teams that think they have a chance at a bid. There's going to be, instead of, 14 teams or 15 teams that think they could deserve to get into the 12, you're going to have 21 or 22 teams that think they should get into the 16. I agree. It makes it a little bit more fun. You could eliminate the buys. The bottom line is the top line of the country and the midpoint in the country. There's a substantial gap somewhere that we hit. Now, James Madison and Tulane, does really them getting throttled on Saturday Night Football head-to-head against the NFL in games that are over in the first quarter, does that do anybody any good? No. Is it unfair to use those results and sort of use that to reflect the entire conference every single year without seeing the teams? Yeah, I think that's unfair. But the truth of the matter is there are such wide talent gaps between these teams. James Madison and Oregon, Oregon was on cruise control in the third quarter. Tulane was motivated, but Tulane, cruise control once you got into the midpoint of the third quarter. The other games were good, but another thing I would add is it's not like if you just added 2 or 3 Power 4 teams that they wouldn't get destroyed too. We saw TCU get destroyed against Georgia. We saw Oklahoma get destroyed by LSU. We saw a lot of big teams in big spots. Tennessee and Ohio State last year. That was an SEC team. So it's not foreign that other teams, SMU got blown out against Penn State. Indiana lost big against Notre Dame. I think this is just how it goes. So I agree with the fact that if you added Vanderbilt and Texas into the equation, or Notre Dame, Vanderbilt into the last 2 instead of the James Madison Tulane, would it have been more entertaining? Probably. Chances are probably. Is it a guarantee that you're going to avoid blowouts? Absolutely not. Because there are always going to be major talent gaps between Team A and Team B. This might have been the good year for it, but the way I look at it is it's an unfixable problem because it's like traffic. The more you add, the more teams are going to think they have a chance at the piece of the pie. And if we're going to be playing the 16-team playoff, when are you going to finish the season? February 4th? Is it going to be college football championship Saturday and then Super Bowl Sunday the next day? You're adding another round. And I know that sounds good, but the college football season, as we know, with the calendar, already runs entirely too long. So I don't really know what the next move is, if it really is eliminating the group of 5 champion. But then you have all these group of 5 championship games, conference championship games, which don't mean much, don't mean anything. There's a reason you watch the American championship, conference championship 3 weeks ago with North Texas and Tulane. Because, hey, the winner gets into the playoff. There was a reason that Troy-James Madison game had a little intrigue. Now, does that make it worth it to make a James Madison-Oregon game terrible? That's a question. But it's not a guarantee just by adding random Power 4 SEC biased teams, because there's not a guarantee that they wouldn't get blown out too. Because let's say we got rid of the group of 5. Who do you think would get the benefit of the doubt? Do you think maybe Notre Dame would get in? It would be, the rest of it would be SEC teams. But the SEC, hold on a second. But the SEC, you had an SEC team lose to an ACC team yesterday at home. You had SEC team 1 lose to SEC team 2 by blowing a 17-point lead. Are they as indestructible as we are instructed on TV? That's the one thing I'll say. If you're going to change it, I understand it, but you're eliminating the little guy in what's meant to emulate the college football or the college basketball NCAA tournament, which you're never going to have 64 teams. But to scale, you're eliminating the little guy, right? And I don't know if I would appreciate that, despite it never being a big game, or hasn't been a good game through a 2-year sample size. Colin Russo, Cade Shumslin. Bears-Packers last night, 22-16, overtime. I think it's time to declare the Bears as the team of magic. Am I wrong there? It's either them or Denver. And time again, the Bears have escaped tough situations. They've put themselves back. And if you go back to that first Packer game at Lambeau, Bears had a chance. They drove right down the field. They had a chance right there with Caleb Williams. He threw that interception in the end zone. This time around, he had the same opportunity. Go tie the game, and he threw a bad pass. But it was in that corner shot in the end zone at the end of the fourth quarter. Great pass. And then all of a sudden, overtime, into the wind, 50 yards down the field. It was almost a statement throw. Like, this is not your division anymore. That's what that felt like. And I'm happy for the Bears, because the Bear fan is, it's like the Jets. They get nothing happy and they have nothing to root for in their lives. But I think the Bears are a better story. And not only that, I think the Bears right now are a better threat to the NFC than the Packers or even the Lions could be. And because of that, I'm glad they won the game. And Kate, I wanted to get your thoughts, because Bears, Packers, Lions, one team is likely going to be out. Lions are rooting for the Packers to lose their last 2. Are you rooting for the team that has the best chances to make it interesting in the postseason? Or do you have a dog in the fight that you think should be left out?
I think I'm going to be cheering for the team that is the healthiest. The Packers are so beat up right now.
Part of the reason why I say the Bears are a better threat right now.
True. the Packers, I don't think, hold up to anybody in the NFC playoffs right now because of how hurt they are. Jordan Love went down with a concussion. There's no chance. There's no
Malik Willis played well. Give him credit. He came in and played well, and he has always played well when he's asked, or when he steps up and is asked upon to start. Go ahead.
Correct. I think the Lions would have a better chance, and I think the Bears would have a better chance of being contenders in the NFC. Now, let me ask you, Colin. You said something very interesting to start that entire conversation. You said the Bears. You're ready to declare the Bears as the team of magic this year, or the Broncos.
Yep.
Does that mean that they are real contenders to vie for an NFC championship bid? Or is this more like a Washington Commanders where it's a fun story, but they'll ultimately get destroyed by someone real?
Hold on. Got to give the Commanders credit. They went to the Detroit Lions and beat them in the divisional round.
That's what I'm saying. They will have one signature win, and then a real team steps up and beats them.
A good example of this, Denver was an example last year. They went into the playoffs and got steamrolled by Buffalo. The Vikings are another good example of this. Won 14 games, team of magic. All of a sudden, they go into the postseason, and the Rams make quick use of them at Arizona. So, to answer your question, it's hard to judge that, but how do we judge good teams versus bad teams in the NFL? Do they win their close games? Well, Denver does, and Chicago has now proven on multiple occasions that they can. They've been tested. Do you have questions about Caleb Williams? Absolutely. But do you trust the coaching? Do you trust the defense? And do you trust the big game environment that Chicago will provide in a postseason environment? They might get 2 home games. They get 2 home games. I don't care if you're phony or not. That's going to be a competitive game. Playing in Chicago in January, it's going to be -5 with wind chill. If you get the right team, if you get the Rams, and the Rams have to go to Chicago, and the Rams are pretty good in a cold weather game because, remember, they played well in the snow against Philadelphia last year. If you get the Rams going to Chicago on a January night in the divisional round, San Francisco going to Chicago in January on a windy and snowy night, that will equalize any sort of phoniness that we think the Bears might have. Now, I can't judge a team because they're not blowing teams out. They've had moments where they've blown teams out, but they win close games. And that type of battle-testedness, I trust. And I do like Caleb Williams. I think he's getting better. I don't think he's the focal point of that team, but his 10-second memory is commendable. He's got a bad first half. Oh, he doesn't do anything in the first half. The same thing the first time around when they played the Packers. What does he do the second half? Like 175 yards passing in that first game. He plays well. Does the same yesterday. Starts playing a lot better. I could respect that because he's a little bit of a tale of two-half quarterback. So I trust him. I trust the coaching. They got a good rushing attack, and their defense is getting healthier and now can play pretty well. So I do trust them to win playoff games. Why? Because they're going to win the division.
I agree. And I just wanted to clarify what you meant by team of magic, because this, to me, feels like not only a great story, but also a team that can actually win. And they can do it in the brightest moments, and they can do it against the toughest opponent.
Outside of Lambeau, they're going to have the toughest home field in that NFC playoffs. If it was potentially Lambeau. Other than maybe the
Seattle would be the only one I would come up with.
And you know what? Seattle's different because Seattle's loud, but it won't. The weather might be a little funky.
Correct.
But it's not going to be -10.
Correct.
You get the right team coming up north, play -10. Ooh, that will be a difficult home field environment.
Yeah, I think the Bears can do this. Now they obviously have to start playing clean football all the way through, but it's amazing how much their defense has stepped up too. One area of this team that we really don't talk about now, it's because statistically they're not great, but they get turnovers. Right? They're one of the best teams at getting their offense the ball back.
Yep.
And essentially, when it comes to the biggest moments, that's the part that you need out of your defense. You can allow a field goal here once in a while if your offense can go score a touchdown.
And nullifies a shaky offense.
It does.
It provides a little shot of life. Is it reliable game in and game out? Probably not. The offense is going to need to win them a game eventually. And that's like throughout a game.
But if you can get multiple scores in a row because your defense is able to get a turnover, that's the biggest momentum shift there is in football.
One thing we know for sure is that offense can get hot at any time. Saw it yesterday with the fourth quarter and overtime. They could get hot. They could get aggressive. And then all of a sudden things change.
It's interesting because DJ Morris has been like the quiet receiver. It's been Rome Odunze. It's been DeAndre Swift. DJ Moore, who's had the one who was brought into this offense to start this rebuild, makes a huge play last night, and now he's starting to get rolling. Everything's working well for the Bears right now.
Absolutely. Kate Chums and Colin Russo. We got week 16 in the NFL. A lot of things to look forward to. Let's figure out what to keep our eye on. Let's do our quick look ahead, presented by Jay Zolo and Associates.
Time now for a quick look, presented by the QuickBooks Pro experts at Jay Zolo and Associates. Since 1997, Jay Zolo and Associates has been helping Palm Beach County businesses with their accounting and bookkeeping needs. From expert QuickBooks services to getting your business finances in order, their team has the knowledge and experience to help.
All right, week 16 in the NFL, it's a little tricky because you got the teams that are eliminated and the teams that are not. So the things to keep an eye on this week, already having 3 games and 3+ playoff teams are already playing. Here, you're going to have to figure out which game we're going to get into. Here's one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Panthers, who, mind you, sitting at 7-7, they had a terrible, terrible loss at the Saints last week, 20-17. And the Buccaneers, who have been maybe the most erratic team in the entire NFC, have lost 5 of their last 6. And they lost to the Falcons last week in terrible fashion, giving up basically 15 points in the fourth quarter. This game, in a lot of ways, is going to be for an inside track on the NFC South. Both sitting at 7-7. The winner of this game, there's a halfway decent chance they're going to get a home game in the NFC playoffs. That is how big this game is. Tampa Bay is favored by 3. It is in Carolina. The one thing I'd warn Tampa Bay fans about is Carolina is a one game on, 1 game off team. Last week was game off. This week could be game on. I'd be nervous about Carolina in this spot. That's game number 1 to keep an eye on. Outside of that, you have a lot of the bad teams playing in that early slate, but you get the Chargers going to Dallas. Dallas likely dead in the playoff hunt. We're out on them. They're not getting anything. They're just playing spoiler the rest of the year. But the Chargers looking to stay in a good standing in that AFC. They still have Denver, another game of the year. They're not completely out of that AFC West race. They need Jacksonville to beat Denver today, and then the Chargers need to catch up on a game themselves when they play them next week. So keep an eye on that 4:05 game. I think the most unheralded game of the week, but maybe perhaps the best game of the week, is in Denver. Jacksonville going to the Broncos. Broncos are 7-0 at home. Top team in the AFC, 12-2. Jacksonville right behind at 10-4. Jacksonville's played well on the West Coast throughout the season. They won at San Francisco. They won at Arizona. They won at Las Vegas. They've played those teams well when they're in the West Coast. Can they go to Denver, who is favored by 3.5 in the game at Mile High? And can they shock the world? I'd make the argument that Jacksonville needs the game a lot more than Denver does, because Denver needs to win their 2 divisional games that they have finishing off the year. They got the Chiefs next week on Christmas, and then they got the Chargers the last game of the year. If there is a gut check game opportunity, they've won 11 games in a row. If there is a gut check game, you know what? We need to lose. Remember what losing feels like. Reset a little bit before the postseason, and it's a real thing. You don't necessarily need to go into the postseason on a 14-game winning streak. If there is a moment like that, I'd make the argument that today is the perfect game for that. They do not get completely out of the divisional race because of it, and there's still a good chance that they get that AFC bye. Going to be a competitive game. I think Jacksonville is going to play with a lot of heart today, and I actually think Jacksonville will win the game. Steelers-Lions is a good one. Lions are now rooting for the Packers to completely fall apart, whether that means no Jordan Love next week and we go Malik Willis and then we get figured out. They got the Steelers at home today. Steelers have an inside track over the Ravens, who have a tough game today as well against the Patriots. So the Steelers, sitting at 8-6, have a tall task of going to Detroit and being able to outscore that prolific offense. Can the Lions, who have been a weird team all season long, they blew that game against the Rams last week, can they recapture a little lightning before the last 3 weeks of the year into potentially a postseason bid? They win out. There's a good chance that they'll get in. Patriots and the Ravens finish things off on Sunday Night Football. Patriots 11-3 coming off a loss to Buffalo where they led 21-0 in the game. They're going against the Ravens. Ravens sitting at 7-7. They shut out the Bengals last week. They had a terrible loss to the Steelers 2 weeks ago. Been a weird team. Haven't played the best football. Lamar's looking a little healthier. I think that looks good and bodes well for that offense. But the Patriots are coming off a loss, and they're good on the road. This is a team that is 6-0 on the road to this point in the season. They want to keep an outside track and potentially that first-round bye, and they're going to need the game. Patriots-Ravens, Sunday Night Football, NBC and Peacock. Stay tuned there. Colin Russo and Cade Chumsden with you. On the other side, we'll do a little headline hierarchy and a little blitz the book on this week's bowl games. Stay tuned for it. It's Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet and ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
This is ESPN 1063, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 1063, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
It's the year-end sales event with the Ford crew.
It's sales event time, Sam.
Temperatures are dropping, but the deals are just getting hot.
Time for our annual Ford Holiday Gift Guide.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to go wrong with great deals on trucks and SUVs from Ford, America's all-time best-selling auto brand.
Don't forget the first rule of holiday gift giving, Hank.
What's that, Sam?
Always remember to treat yourself, too.
Well said.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Celebrate the most wonderful time of the year at the Gardens Mall. Santa has arrived and is available for photos during all mall hours now through December 24th. Make a reservation today at whereissanta.com. Don't forget to swing by the Kids Corner Holiday Shop to let the kiddos pick out gifts for their favorite people. All proceeds benefit the Arc of Palm Beach County. For your shopping convenience, the Gardens Mall will be extending their hours during the holiday season. Visit thegardensmall.com for the full schedule.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit SignoramawPB.com.
Every great performance starts with a plan. Your game plan for greatness begins at Men's Only Medical. Dr. Al is redefining men's health with concierge care and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. From anti-aging and weight management to cardiovascular health, skin, and hair, they've got you covered. Expect personalized care and advanced technology to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Visit mensonlymedical.com. Men's Only Medical, setting a new standard for men's health.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Daisy right, soy, blitz right, Travolta right, pumpkin left, alert Charlotte left. Don't want.
This is Sunday Huddle with Colin Russo, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Well, been a car accident, truck accident, fell down the stairs, had a fender bender on your way to the game last night. Been a car accident, truck accident, any of those things. You got to understand that my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they're here to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back, and they could get yours too. They didn't even charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve Why settle for just any attorney? Demand the best. Demand Anna Jar and Levine today, because that's the real difference. Take that one phone call and take back control of your life today. Don't wait. Call for the free consultation now. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anna Jar and Levine. Colin Russo, Kate Johnson with you at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter / X at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida. A lot of college headlines to follow along. Let's rank them. Let's put them 1 through 5. Let's do a little headline hierarchy.
5 mystery storylines from the National Football League.
I thought this would be purposeful on Kate's part.
1 Colin Russo hoping to not bury the lead.
This is not a big-time headline.
It's time for the headline hierarchy on Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
So this is a classic case of miscommunication because we never talked about what the headline hierarchy would be. And I've got 5 headlines that have nothing to do with the college football weekend.
Never mind.
As Colin was saying, you did the quick look presented by Jay Zolo and Associates, but I want to really break down. I put down my top 5 NFL matchups for this weekend, not including what's already been played, what's upcoming.
Okay.
And I'm curious to see where you line up with it. This is in no particular order. These are just the 5 that I'm looking forward to the most. Now you get to rank them. Number 1, it's the battle of the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay in one of the biggest slumps in the NFL, losing their 5 of their last 6. Carolina continuing their teeter-totter, every off and on type of games. You beat the Rams, you lose to the Saints. Now they're here for their first game against the Buccaneers. This game is going to be in Carolina. What are you looking forward to? This is your first matchup.
This is going to be my second game. This is number 2. Because it's playoff implicating, because I think it'll be an interesting game. It's the early slate. It's a sort of win and in scenario. You know that one of these 2 teams are not going to get in. I know they'll play again in 2 weeks. But this is going to be number 2 for me in terms of games I'm looking forward to because it's got a lot of playoff implications.
Our next one we're going to go to is the Motor City. The Pittsburgh Steelers going against NFC North Detroit Lions. Detroit playing for their playoff lives right now. Pittsburgh as well, just a game ahead of the Ravens. They most likely will not get in based on a wild card spot. This is win the division or you're out again. The Steelers versus the Lions, Colin.
Steelers Lions, I'm going to put this at number 3. I think this is another good game. A lot of playoff implications. You can make the argument that if the Lions lose this game, they're definitely out. And if the Steelers lose this game, then all of a sudden the Ravens have a lot of pressure on Sunday Night Football to beat the Patriots. I think this is actually the 3rd biggest game of the weekend because I think it has a lot of AFC North implications. And is that division going to be tied going into that Steeler-Raven final game of the season? So that's going to be number 3 to me. I know it could be number 4. I'm going to stick at number 3.
All right, sounds good. Let's head to your team now. The Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to the Mile High City and the Denver Broncos, the number 1 seeded Denver Broncos. Jacksonville right behind at the number 3 seed. We're trying to stay ahead of the Houston Texans in the AFC South.
This is going to be number 1. I've said it. I think this game is very unheralded and untalked about. I think this is a huge game to determine where Jacksonville kind of stands amongst the ranks of the AFC. I know it doesn't have as many playoff implications. I'm a little biased here because I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, but this is as big of a Jaguar game as they have ever had in years because they lose this game, Texans win, Texans have an inside track on the AFC South. Jacksonville wins this game. I know the Texans still have to play the Chargers eventually. It gets difficult for the Texans to get into the AFC South consideration if Jacksonville wins this game. Jacksonville has the Titans and the Colts the last 2 games of the year. You can make an argument that those are 2 very winnable games for Jacksonville. Houston's watching this game with a steady eye. I'm watching this game with a steady eye. I want Jacksonville to get a home game in the postseason. This is an important game to do that, and I think it's a good litmus test for both sides.
You have your 4 and your 5 slot left. Let's go to the Sunday Night Football battle. Classic AFC interdivisional rivalry game. The New England Patriots versus the Baltimore Ravens. This game goes way back to my childhood, your childhood, Colin, but now it's got 2 brand new stars at the quarterback position, 2 still good defenses, new coach for New England. A lot of stuff headed into this Sunday Night Football game.
Yeah, this give me number 4. I think this is a steady 4 spot because playoff implication sides for Baltimore. You can make the argument they can't afford to lose this game, especially if the Steelers were to win and beat Detroit. So if you're the Ravens, you're going to know that the outcome of that game going in. There's going to be a lot of pressure to win that game. And you're playing a team that's good on the road, number one. Number two, coming off a bad loss. So you got to think that Vrabel's going to have the Patriots ready. And if the Patriots were to lose, then all of a sudden it gets interesting with that AFC East divisional title, because then the Bills are sitting right behind them. The Ravens can't afford to lose this game. The argument in the scope of the playoffs, Patriots can't afford to lose this game. That'll be interesting. That's number 4.
All right, your final slot left is the number 5 spot, and I think you did all right because we've got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Indianapolis Colts on Monday Night Football. Phillip Rivers once again at the helm. Indianapolis playing for their chances at a playoff spot. San Francisco, with the Rams losing on Thursday Night Football, they kind of have an eye at the potential number 1 seed in the NFC if all goes right for them, so they need every win possible. San Francisco, Indianapolis, your 5 spot.
This is a fine 5 spot. I can make the argument that I don't think Colts are getting into the postseason regardless. All eyes are on is San Francisco getting a little healthier, can finish the season strong. I think they'll win this game. I think this Phillip Rivers experiment will sort of fall apart. I think we've had enough time to Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator of the Niners, has had enough time to make him uncomfortable. This is a fine 5 spot for me. I think I did a good job there.
I think you did all right. I'm surprised you have the New England-Baltimore game so low. To me, that's the number 1 game of the weekend. I just love the history of it, and I think this could be Baltimore's
huge
last
environment.
chance.
I love the night game. I'm just into Tampa Bay. I'm a Carolina guy. I am into the Carolina Buccaneer game because I can make the argument that could be a win-and-in scenario.
Gotcha.
All right, Cade. That was our headline hierarchy. We got a lot of bowl games this week, including the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans coming up on Tuesday. We got a lot of good action this week. Let's have a little fun. Let's bet 4 games with Blitz the Book, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Blitz the Book, presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3, a college football edition. Cade, we got a couple decisions to make in terms of what we're going to bet with the games this weekend. Which bowl games would you like to do? There's a couple to keep an eye on.
Let's do, how about this? We will both do the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans right here in Boca Raton, Florida. And the other big one for this week would be Saturday, the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando. Those are the 2 we both want to choose on. And then we're looking right here at the Hard Rock Bet app. Choose your other 2 for yourself. So let's go.
Okay, so I could choose any game for that other one.
Go for the other 2 will be whatever you want. The first 2, Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans and the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
You want to start with the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans?
Let's do it. It is currently the line at Louisville minus 6.5, an active line. This morning it was only 5.5, but a lot of money on Louisville, and I think Louisville should take care of Toledo. Toledo looking for 3 Boca Raton, 3 of these bowl games to win, but I think the ACC team has got it.
I agree. I think this would be an ACC team domination. Can I also take the same game as you?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Minus 6.5. I'm taking Louisville as well. All right, no problem there.
Let's go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Right now, it is BYU against Georgia Tech. BYU favored minus 4.5. They got, some could say, snubbed out of the college football playoffs. I think they're going to want to play hard for it. They're at minus 4.5, and I like the Cougars.
I'm both sides here. I like Georgia Tech in this game.
Okay.
It's going to be Haynes King's last game of his career. That guy's a gamer. This team's a bunch of gamers. Rich Salem, the special teams coordinator, is a good friend because he came by at the Lou Gross Award and said hello to Mike Rizzo and I. So this is our guy. This is our team. Georgia Tech plus 4.5. No problem there. Cade, what's your pick of the game that you like?
My first individual game, we're headed to the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl, where it's North Texas and San Diego State. North Texas lost in the AAC championship for a bid in the playoffs. They have this one minus 2.5. This is a high-flying offense. I think North Texas should be able to handle their own minus 2.5.
I'm looking at the Fenway Bowl. UConn and Army. UConn does not have their coach, and they don't have their quarterback. I'm going to take Army here because Army, everybody's playing in that game. It's minus 8.5. So clearly the books are on top of this as well. I'm going to take Army in the Fenway Bowl minus 8.5 against UConn. And I can't believe I'm betting against UConn like that, but that's how much I believe Army's going to
My last one is going to be the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, Virginia versus Missouri. Ranked Virginia going against unranked Missouri, but the line right now is minus 3.5 for the Tigers. And I think the bookmakers at Hard Rock Bet know something I don't. I'll take Missouri minus 3.5 in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
You know, it's a weird one. LSU's got a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Plus 2.5 they are against Houston in the Texas Bowl. So because of that, I actually think LSU is going to want to show something because Ole Miss showed something to LSU by winning the game, stealing some of their interim head coaches, stuff like that. I know they're completely depleted as a coaching staff. I like LSU here plus 2.5. I think they're actually going to play hard in the game.
Nice.
Those are our 4 games presented by Hard Rock Bet. On the other side of things, Colin Russo and Cade Chums, and what we will do is we will make our NFL picks on the other side. It's Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet on the ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Safebound Moving and Storage is growing. We're looking for new movers and drivers who lead by example, show up ready, and take pride in their work. If you're dependable, willing to learn, and thrive in a fast-paced environment, you'll fit right in. This isn't just a job, it's a career. Do you have what it takes? If so, visit safeboundmoving.com to apply today. Safeboundmoving.com.
This football season, make Hurricane Grill and Wings your game day getaway. Sip on handcrafted cocktails like our Millionaire Margarita or enjoy an ice-cold Bud Light. Game day drink specials are here all season. Visit hurricanewings.com to find a location near you.
This is the Delray Beach Open, the ultimate tennis party. Don't miss today's top professional tennis stars and legends in downtown Delray Beach. February 13th through the 22nd. It's 10 days of 140 miles per hour aces, parties, and all the good vibes. Come for the nonstop action on and off the court. Snap pics and post memories at the DBO. Join us for a jam-packed week of ATP tennis matches where champions play and fans party. DelrayBeachOpen.com for info. Tickets on sale now.
Some pirates spend their miserable lives searching for gold and silver. Strike the sails and cast the anchor, mates. I see a floating chest. Tickets to the South Florida Fair. With rides, games, grubs. There'll be something for every mate in your crew. Forget a soul on your list? Great last-minute gift. Give them an experience they'll never forget. With tickets to the South Florida Fair.
Now on sale at Publix and SouthFloridaFair.com. Party with the Pirates opens January 16th in West Palm Beach.
This holiday season, give your loved ones, friends, and colleagues a gift with endless possibilities. Give them a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach. Breakers gift cards let you treat those who matter most to the things they love the most, like irresistible oceanfront getaways, lessons at the Breakers' new Golf and Racket Club, pampering at the exquisite spa, and shopping at the resort's stylish collection of on- and off-site boutiques. Gift cards may also be used for dining at the Breakers' renowned restaurants and bars, including Echo, Henry's Palm Beach, HMF, and Flagler Steakhouse. What's even better, for a limited time, when you purchase a $500 gift card online at thebreakers.com, you'll receive an additional $50 on that card. Compliments of the Breakers. This year, give a gift that has endless possibilities. Visit thebreakers.com today. Happy holidays from the Breakers family to yours.
The Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs with 6 locations, perfect for an occasional wash, or enjoy unlimited inside and out washes starting at just $49.95 a month. UnlimitedAutoWashClub.com. Call 561-WASH-ME-TOO.
Hello? Hey, Ms. Johnson, Sergeant Moore with the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office. You have an outstanding fine for failing to appear for jury duty? Here's my lieutenant. He's going to get your credit card so you can handle this now.
Credit card number? But I never got a jury summons. What is this?
Hi, I'm Mike Caruso, your clerk of court. This is a scam. Law enforcement will never call you regarding your juror summons. That's right. If there's a warrant for your arrest, we're not going to call you. We're going to show up and arrest you. Don't get scammed.
It's time to spill the beans, football fans. The 12th annual Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans is Tuesday, December 23rd at 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Louisville, fresh off wins over playoff teams Miami and James Madison, faces Toledo, chasing a record 3rd bowl title. Louisville versus Toledo. Scoop your seats now at BocaRatonBowl.com. The Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans, December 23rd at 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
Roadrunner. This is Sunday Huddle with Colin Russo, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
You know, the best part about this NFL Sunday in Week 16 is even if you don't have a dog in the fight, even if your fantasy team's eliminated, you can get on the Hard Rock Bet app and you can still sprinkle action on each and every one of these games on the player prop side, game-by-game side. You can string together parlays, do futures, do it all in one spot on the app. That includes NBA, college basketball, any league, anytime, any place. You can bet it on Hard Rock bet. Deposit just $5 into the app. Bet that first $5 bet. Get $150 in bonus bets if you win that bet. It's that easy to have some action to play with, especially in such a big week of sports and football, basketball, and then college football playoff on the horizon. The NFL playoffs just around the corner. You're going to be watching this stuff anyway. Sprinkle some action on it. Have some fun. Check out the Discover page and see what other users are putting together in terms of their parlays. And you can tap and tag along on their picks or use that to inspire your own. Do it on the app. It is so easy. The interface caters to both types of players, the new player and the experienced one. It is Hard Rock Bet. Try it today. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus physically present in front of the wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE. Colin Russo, Kane Chubson. Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3. We blitzed the book last time with college football. Let's blitz the book and make our NFL picks for Week 16. All right, blitz the book, Hard Rock Bet, ESPN 106.3. Cade and I compete. 3 picks we make against the spread, but we have to draft it. So only one of us gets the actual pick. One worth 1 point, second worth 2 points, third worth 3 points, and then a player prop worth 4 points. Cade, who won last week?
We actually tied with 4 points apiece. I won the previous week, so it's still my turn. The total score right now, with only 3 weeks to go, we've still yet to decide if we're doing playoffs or not. But right now in the regular season, the totals, I'm at 85. You're at 70.
Right.
So you got a lot of work left to do. So for right now, for my number 1 pick, I will take the Buffalo Bills against the Cleveland Browns. It's minus 10.5 for Buffalo, and I think they win big.
My 1 point, I'm taking Carolina. I do believe. Start believing. This happens every week. You think, oh, this team stinks. They're out. Please. This is what they do. Carolina plus 2.5. They're going to win at home today against Tampa Bay.
Cincinnati Bengals traveling down to South Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins. Even though they have no dog in the fight anymore, I still like Cincinnati to put up some points on that Miami defense. I think Miami falls from grace again, just like they did against Pittsburgh. Give me Cincinnati -4.
Jacksonville +3 against Denver. I'm taking 2 underdogs on the road. Jacksonville, I think, is actually going to play very well today. I think they're going to play very motivated today. People have gone around national media saying they don't care about Jacksonville. They don't think Jacksonville's a threat. Richard Sherman came out and said he doesn't think Jacksonville's a threat. I think they're going to take that to heart. I think there's something they can prove today. I think they know that. And I think it's going to be a very competitive game in which Jacksonville has a lot more to gain and play for comparatively to Denver. Jacksonville +3 with my other pick.
Listen, I got the Jaguars on cover 5 as well. I think they're going to play well too. I like that pick. For my last one, I talked about the Monday Night Football game earlier. I think San Francisco -5.5 wins big against Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts on the road. Give me the Niners -5.5 as my 3-point pick.
Remind me your first pick.
I took Buffalo -10.5.
You took Buffalo -10.5. I know Minnesota had team playing issues. Giants stink. Minnesota is a weird team, but defensively, they're a bunch of hounds. I think they're going to want to play spoiler the rest of the year, and I think they're going to want to end the season on a little bit of positive momentum. It's going to be an important game for them to continue to win. -2.5 on the road against the Giants, 1 p.m. today. On the NFL slate. All right, Cade, your player prop is what?
We have a massive game tonight. New England Patriots, Baltimore Ravens. The line right now is actually Ravens -3. I think New England surprised a lot of people, especially riding the game of Travion Henderson, the rookie. Colin, he was one of your game changers earlier in the year. For fantasy, he's done very well for me this year. I think he goes over 65 rushing yards. That is plus money on the Hard Rock Bet app. I'm taking Travion Henderson for over 65 rushing yards.
Bryce Young is +230 to get 25 rushing yards. 25 rushing yards. I need 2 scrambles, essentially, +230. Sign me up. Bryce Young getting 25 plus rushing yards. Pretty good. That's our Hard Rock Bet. Blitz the book. Kate, do you think the Jaguars will play well today?
I do. I do think the Jaguars play well today, especially with the line right now at +3.5. At least making it a field goal ball game, I think, is great. Denver, for some reason, unless they're playing a significantly poor defense, wants to play the game tight or has been playing games
tight.
Game's
going to be close.
Yeah, 100%. And so I think Jacksonville has proven throughout the year that they can play in these tight games, that they can try to finish games. The coaching staff, I think, is a lot better for Jacksonville.
2 overtime wins.
Keeping with those games, 100%, 2 overtime wins. So I like Jacksonville riding off the momentum of let's just be honest, their last 3 teams have been pretty easy, right? They haven't necessarily been
but they've won
really
easy.
tested, but they've won easy. No, I was about to get there, right? So they're going to take that momentum into this game. I think they step up to the level of competition. I think they've prepared great for this game. Denver's going to want to hold on to that 1 seed with their lives. Jacksonville trying to hold on to their division. 2 Titans. It's a little bit of a shame that this is a 4:05 game, but still going to be a powerhouse.
It should be Sunday Night Football, and they did not do it because they want the Patriots and Ravens there. I understand. But all right, Steelers-Lions. You think the Lions will play well today?
I think the Lions blow them. I would take them minus 12.5.
Steelers I know they're on a short week, but they've played well. Keep that in mind. They played one of their best games of the season against Miami on Monday Night Football. So you think the Lions are going to
but the week
meet
the
them?
week before that, they played a real team in the Buffalo Bills and got absolutely manhandled.
So you think this is going to be a track meet for the Lions? You just think you're going to blow them out?
I think final score 34-20.
Okay. And last game here, Patriots-Ravens.
I think New England. I think New England's legit. I know the Ravens have the pedigree, but I think New England's legit. Give me the Patriots 20-17.
Responding big off a bad loss. I agree. I think they'll play well tonight. I think it'll be important to them to win, despite it being in the Ravens, who are only 3-5 at home, by the way. Nonetheless, that's Kate Chumson, Colin Russo. If you missed any of the program, go to Sunday Huddle on Apple, Spotify, on podcasts, and you can catch the full shows there. We'll be back at it next week. Enjoy your slate of football. Enjoy that Sunday drive. It's been Colin Russo and Kate Chumson saying so long. See you next time. Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet and ESPN 106.3.
The preceding program was paid for in full by Hard Rock Bet. Advice and opinions expressed during this program were solely those of the guests or hosts of this program and not of ESPN 106.3 or Good Karma Brands.
On Sunday, December 21st, the Palm Beach Kennel Club invites you to be a part of something meaningful, the charity poker tournament for John Martin. Known to so many as J-Mart, it's a chance for our community to come together and show support. Registration begins at 11:30 a.m. with cards in the air at 12:30 inside the PBKC Poker Tournament area on the second floor. It's a $50 buy-in with $20 rebuys and add-ons during the first break. Half the proceeds go to the prize pool, and the other half goes directly to help with John's medical expenses and his family. Every entry, every donation, every show of support makes a real difference. Your participation helps lift up someone who has made an impact on so many people. And together, we can create a moment J-Mart and his family will truly feel. Let's come together and show John Martin, J-Mart, how much he means to all of us. Sunday, December 21st,